Hello all, I welcome all of you to online video tutorial for the subject Cyber and Network Security. I am Suryanarayan NK, Assistant Professor, Department of ECE, Sai Vidya Institute of Technology. This is session 1. In this session, we are going to study the basic concept in cyber and network security. The syllabus for cyber and network security is as shown in the slide. The course code is 17EC835, 17 scheme we are following. CIE and SEE marks are 40, 60, and total number of lecture hours allotted is 40. That is 8 hours per module. The credit allotted for this subject is 3. These two are the reference textbook for cyber and network security. One is Cryptography and Network Security by William Stallings, and another one is Cyber Security by Thomas. Before going into the details of the subject, let us go through the syllabus. This is the syllabus given by the university, and these are the modules that is there in the part A of the syllabus. Module 1, 2 and 3 are from this textbook, Cryptography and Network Security by William Stallings, where we are going to study transport level security, email security and IP security. Clearly in the syllabus, it is mentioned refer textbook 1 chapter 15, refer textbook 1 chapter 17 and refer textbook 1 chapter 18. Coming to the syllabus of part B, there you are going to study the concept from this textbook Cyber Security by Thomas. There we have chapter 1 and 2 from this textbook, chapter 3 and 4 from this textbook only. Let us see what is there in the textbook. See, the first textbook consists of 6 parts, whereas the first part is background, second part is about symmetric ciphers, third part is asymmetric ciphers, fourth part is cryptographic algorithms. Fifth part in this textbook is user authentication and mutual trust. And sixth part in this textbook is network and internet security, where we are going to study only these chapters that is mentioned in this textbook as reference, chapter 17, 19 and 20. Since this is higher version, 7th edition, slight difference in the chapters you can notice. But the contents here are same. In second textbook, there are 14 chapters. Out of 14, we are going to study part 1, 3 chapters, and part 2, only 1 chapter we will study. We will not concentrate on the remaining topics. Let us try to understand the importance of web security. So we'll study here web security threats and web traffic security approaches. These are some of the theory points we need to understand the web security consideration. Generally, World Wide Web, what we call as WWW, is client server application. which is running over internet, and TCP IP over intranets. Even though web browsers are very easy to use, web servers are relatively easy to configure and manage. And the web content is increasing, which is easy to develop. But the main problem here is the software, which is extraordinarily complex. So, this complexity in the software may hide many potential security flaws. So, based on this, a web server can be exploited as a launching pad into the corporation or agency's entire computer complex. Once the web server is subverted, the attacker may be able to gain access to the data and systems not part of the web but also connected to the server which is at the local site. Who are the users now? The question comes here is casual and untrained users are common clients to the web-based services. Such type of users does not have the knowledge of the risk, and they do not have the tools or the knowledge to take effective countermeasure for the attack that is going to happen for the data that they are transmitting. So that is why we need to consider the security for web. What are the different types of threats we are going to see in this slide? This is the most important critical parameter which is shared when we use web, that is client server model, that is data. Here there are four important parameters which provides security to this data, that is integrity, authentication, denial of service, and confidentiality. So what are the threats for these four parameters? We will now see. Threats, consequences, and countermeasures for integrity of data, confidentiality for the data, denial of services, and authentication is mentioned in this table. Let us try to understand various threats to the integrity of data. Here, modification of user data is threat. Trojan horse browser, that is also one of the threat. Modification of memory, modification of message, traffic in transit are the threats to the integrity of the data. What is the consequences based on this threat is nothing but loss of information. If somebody modifies the user data, it is nothing but loss of information. If somebody modifies the memory, means compromise of machine will be there. If somebody modifies the message, then vulnerability to all other threats will be there as a consequences for the threats to the integrity. What is the countermeasure? That is nothing but providing cryptographic checksum. It is nothing but a mathematical value assigned for the data which is sent, and the same value should be recovered at the destination. Coming to the confidentiality, the various threats are eavesdropping on the net, that means silently listening, then theft of information from the server and data from the client, knowing network configuration, and getting information about which client talks to server. talks to server means connecting to the server. So based on these threats, consequences for confidentiality are loss of information and loss of privacy. How to overcome from this consequence is to introduce encryption and to use web proxies. The next important thing is threat to the denial of service. Here, denial of service means the attacker will kill the threads here. The attacker may flood the machine using bogus request. The attacker may fill up the disk or memory, or the attacker may isolate the machine by DNS attacks. So these are the threats. What will be the consequences? So the consequences will be here disruptive in nature. It is disturbing in nature because if somebody kills the thread and floods the machine with bogus request, these two are disturbing and disruptive. And they make the user to prevent from the work getting done. How to avoid this? It is very difficult to prevent this denial of service sometime. Authentication is the next important parameter. Various threats to the authentication are impersonation of legitimate user. That means behaving as authorized users by the attacker. Data forgery is another threat for authentication. So the consequences raised are misinterpretation of user, and here we believe even the false information as true. So the countermeasure we can take here is cryptographic techniques adoption. In this slide, I have shown here various web security approaches at different layers of OSI model. A number of approaches to providing web securities are as shown. This is the network level, transport level, and application level. Here, introducing IP security at the network layer or network level gives the proper security. Similarly, SSL or TLS security will be given at the transport layer, and introduction of Kerberos and SMIME at application level will give the protection at application level layers. So we can see the protection against web traffic at network layer, transport layer, and application layer. We are going to study detailed concept of TLS security, that is module 1, then in email security module 2, and IP security module 3 in subsequent session. What question one can expect based on the topic that is there in the syllabus? That is, here the question expected is explain the need for web security. Second question is discuss various web threats faced when using the web. So these are the two questions we can expect. So this is the reference textbook for module 1. Thank you for attending this session. Shortly, the notes will be uploaded to the respective subject blog.